Welcome to Therapy Talk. No, you do not need to adjust your sets. You are in my microwave, in my kitchen. And what's really going to confuse you in a second is I'm going to talk about hair. I'm going to talk about hair in the kitchen. But why? So I'm going to talk to you about hair loss and mental health. And not so long ago, I ran into a video on YouTube. Isn't YouTube great? You can find anything. I was experiencing some hair loss of my own, and I did some searching, and I found a technique that the Yao women use for extreme hair growth. I was losing some hair. I don't know if it was because of COVID, because that is a side effect I've heard, or it's middle age, or it's just that my hair just wants to take off and go somewhere else for an adventure. I don't know. But anyway, the Yao women have a technique for hair growth, and I thought I would talk about what I have been recently doing with my own hair growth, and I think it's been working. It's actually back in a ponytail now, and it hasn't been able to be in a ponytail for a very long time. I cut my hair off right before COVID, not knowing that no one's going to be around to trim my hair at that time, but I chopped it off to a pixie cut, and I absolutely loved it at the time, but I'm like, I'll just grow it out. But I didn't remember that my hair grows really, really slow. I'm at that age and that period of my life where just hair growth slows down. So I thought I would talk today again about hair loss and mental health. Recently, alopecia has been in the news. Maybe you knew about it before the Academy Awards, but the Academy Awards came around recently, and it's all over. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at the Academy Awards, Google that, and add the word alopecia. It's also been known that it was a slap heard around the world, but I'm not here to talk about that. I am here to talk a little bit about hair loss, and I can't talk about hair loss without adding alopecia. Now, alopecia is basically a universal term for hair loss, and there's lots of different, I think, spectrums to that. I'm not a beautician. I am not an expert in hair. I'm just going to talk about the mental health benefits and some of the struggles and symptoms that mental health might have on your hair. So, like I said earlier, a common side effect to COVID has been hair loss. Hair loss affects so many of us. If you have been affected by hair loss, please let me know in the comments below, because I'd be really interested to have a community of people who feel my pain with losing hair. It really affects you positively and negatively. If you think about it, we commonly say, I'm having a good hair day, or we could say, I'm having a bad hair day. Well, there's something to that. Hair and self-esteem can go back to Greek and Roman times. It can go back to colonial times. Oh my gosh, I love the wigs when I watch old movies or movies that was depicted from back then. And speaking of that, I love Bridgerton, and the wigs that the queen uses is just, I love it. It's so much fun. Even in the Bible, Samson's hair was seen as strength. So as you can see already, there has been a long history of hair and how we portray it. Now, in babies, lots of hair means that they're going to have a good life, which is weird that they can determine that at birth. In women, long, luxurious hair usually is equated to sexuality or virility. And when men grow facial hair, it's usually seen as a masculine type thing. And of course, those are all older stereotypes, but I would not be able to say this without some conviction, because I was a little girl growing up, and the dolls that we used to have was Barbie, right? And the dolls all had long blonde hair. Well, I was born blonde, but I did not have the long, thick hair that Barbie had. So at a very young age, we are given the message that hair equals blah. Hair equals something. So back to what I'm doing in the kitchen. So I found a recipe from the Yao women, and the recipe is using things that you probably already have at home. So as you see, I'm carrying a grapefruit. I'm tossing it around. Actually, I have a grapefruit and 2 oranges. I wonder if I can juggle. Okay, I have dogs underneath me, so. Nope, can't juggle. But anyway, some ingredients to this hair treatment while I talk about mental health and hair. So you're gonna want some citrus fruit. You're gonna see why later. You're gonna want a strainer. You're gonna want a bowl. You're gonna want a pan. And you're gonna want, of course, rice. Now, I've experimented with lots of different rice, but just don't get flavored rice. But I am using long grain white rice. And if you really want to do some research on this, there's an ingredient that the Yao women use, and it is called fleece flower root. And that is something that I don't have access to. But the recipe usually calls for rice, water, pomelo peels, tea brand, and fleece flower root, and ginger. But today, like I said, I have rice, I have some citrus, and I have this that I bought off Amazon, and it's just a little powder to put in there. I watched some YouTuber and she recommended using this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these things together, kind of walk you through that, again, as we're talking about hair and mental health. So the first step to this process, again, no expert, please don't judge me. I'm just willy-nilly throwing this together for content. And it's something that I've been doing about 3 to 4 months now. So I'm a little bit familiar with it. I'm sure there's lots of other people to watch for this actual technique that's going to be better off than me. So if this interests you, please do your research and look for actual people who really know what they're doing with this. I just followed some other YouTuber and I'm just willy-nilly trying it myself. And like I said, I feel like it works. So I'm just going to dump some rice in a bowl. I got quite a bit. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put water in it and I'm going to scrub it. Now the Yao women scrub it to get some of the impurities out, but it just gets some of the nutrients out of the rice and into the water. And that's what we're looking for, is we're looking for water to use on our hair. And you wanna get enough so it's kind of soaking in there, but not too much. Then what you do is you go through and you scrub it. You can see the water is already getting kind of cloudy. So I'm going to scrub it. For a while. So while I'm scrubbing the rice, again, I just have it in the water and I'm just scrubbing it and I'm squeezing it and I'm just kind of rubbing it around in the water. But I'm not gonna lie, my hair has caused me a lot of distress. Even at a younger age, when my mom used to take masking tape and tape my bangs, but she would cut it above the tape line, not below the tape line. But anywhere, that's the earliest memory I have of my hair. I'd also get perms often, and I just never thought my hair was as good as any of the other girls I went to school with. I want the long, luxurious hair. I want thick hair. And I want fast growing hair, and it just doesn't happen for me. It's just my genetics, so I'm okay with that part of it. But excuse me. But like I said, it just really does a toll on myself psychologically and my self-esteem, because I do compare myself to other people. I think we all do at some point in our life. So I really hope I'm not alone in that. So if you have ever struggled with self-esteem in your hair, please let me know in the comments below. But I wish I was more like my daughter and my friend Pauline. They recently both just shaved all their hair off and they look absolutely drop dead gorgeous. I wish I could do that. I wish I had enough nerve to do that. But instead, a lot of times I will spend money on hair extensions. I even bought a wig over COVID. It's one of those weird purchases that I made. It's actually a decent wig, but I just feel like I can't pull it off. Anyway, I am a therapist and I have issues with my self-esteem when it comes to my hair. So such psychological distress happens to people in and around hair. Psychology Today states that people with hair loss issues can experience loneliness, isolation, shame, lack of confidence, low self-image, and it goes on and on. It creates a lot of anxiety for people. Some people will spend lots and lots of money to cover it up. Unfortunately, we have a society where we can do that. We can just go to the store and buy hair. So it is possible that we can just help ourselves feel better by purchasing something. My dogs keep making noises. I keep seeing what they're doing. But hair is constantly linked to beauty perceptions. Like I said earlier with the Barbie dolls and stuff, I always had this idea that I needed to look a certain way. Have you guys ever felt that way? That we felt like either ads or media or somebody or something makes you feel a certain way, and you kind of conform to it. They just experience a lot of negative symptoms. So you can see how this can be a hairy topic. Thus, me looking up tactics and ways to try to help my scalp grow new hair, or at least hang on to the stuff I still have. So I've been scrubbing this for a while. The directions say to wash the rice properly to remove dirt and impurities until you get a real cloudy water. I've got some real cloudy water. So what I need to do now, I drain this water out because this is considered me washing the rice. So I drain this water out and then I boil. So the next step is I'm gonna get my strainer. I'm gonna get my water that I just rinsed the rice in. I'm gonna put it in the strainer and save the water and put the rice aside. Can you hear my dog playing with her toy in the background? Anyway, I'm just gonna take this out. I'm gonna shake it, shake, 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 shake your rice, shake your rice. Okay, enough. Okay, so you can see it's really, really cloudy. So now I'm gonna add it to the stove. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna have it on medium-low heat. It doesn't really say in the directions that I'm looking at what to do. So then I'm just gonna heat this up and make a mess. Oh, you can see I have some little bit of stuff there. So now we add the other ingredients. The one thing that I forgot to grab for this video was ginger. I usually have it around, but for some reason I don't right now. So, but the recipe does call for it. But what we do with the citrus is it's a nice snack while you're waiting for it to cook. However, we don't use the inside. We put the peels directly into the pan. And the reason for this is because formation doesn't smell too good. So I'm gonna put that in there. We're gonna let it kind of cook for a while. And then I'm also gonna add, like I said, this stuff. The stuff that they call for is not really common in this area. So I'm gonna get maybe just a little scoop of that and put that in there. Cut some out. Just one little scoop. So I'm gonna let that come to a boil. Then after it's boiling, I'm going to add the rice. While I wait for the rice to boil, I'm gonna eat my little oranges and talk to you a little bit about the Yao women. So they use fermented rice that's left for a month before use. Now, what I've done is probably about 2 or 3 weeks then I use. I kind of make this recipe about once or twice a month, and then I just like cycle it through my spray, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But the Yao women actually take their heads and they wash it, and they not wash it, they rinse it in the water. So it's basically a rinse. I use this before I take a shower and actually shampoo it. Now, some YouTubers say that if you leave it on too long, it could fry your hair, or the proteins can get in your hair and do some funky stuff. And they say you leave it on about 20 minutes. So that's roughly what I do. But the Yao women has been known for their long hair, and in their culture, long hair symbolizes prosperity, longevity, wealth, and good fortune. So again, depending on where we're at, there's different cultural things in and around hair. But again, it's a hairy topic. My water is boiling, so let's do the next step.
They're right. A watched pot never boils. I wasn't watching. I was eating my snack. And talking to you great people. Now I'm just going to clean up and talk a little bit more about this. So, how long do I keep it fermented? It probably just depends. You don't want it to go rotten or get bad on you. So you might want to play around with quantities, your thickness of hair, how long your hair is, and then go from there. I have also meal prepped around doing my rice treatment. That way I don't waste the rice. Unfortunately, this time around I did not reuse the rice because I just made a batch of rice last night for my meal prep. So this time I wasted it, but usually I go ahead and reuse it. So now I'm just washing up my dirty dishes and then letting my rice water cool off. And then I'm going to put it in the container. So as you can see, there is a lot of different color in this rice water. Now, some people, before they put it in their container, they will actually cut up or use the same citrus that they use to cook this in. Again, that just helps with the overall scent. Or you can put a couple of drops of essential oils or any kind of oils for aromatherapy. Tea tree oil is good for your hair. Lavender would probably be good. But I find that just putting in citrus alone makes it so it doesn't stink at all. It's actually really nice and a refreshing scent.
One thing I haven't talked yet about is sometimes people with sudden hair loss, it may be equated with grieving or bereavement due to ongoing feelings of loss, or maybe a death has occurred. And there are some depression meds that cause hair loss as well. And let's just not forget what happens with our bodies when we have stress. Stress is one of the main factors determining hair growth. Emotional stress can significantly slow your hair growth or even stop it in its normal growth cycle. So seeking out professional help can definitely help.
I would be interested in hearing you guys talk about your own individual hair struggles if you've had any. Maybe you have alopecia. Maybe you have a version of alopecia. Maybe you have trichotillomania. I don't know. I just think more people should talk about hair and mental health and the implications on it. I mean, like I said before, I have really struggled and I continue to struggle. And the thing is, what's hard is to admit that, because as a therapist, I try really hard to come across as I have it all together. Well, guess what? We don't. I do not have it all together. If you spent any time on our channel at all, you know that a lot of times I am a hot mess. But that's okay. That makes me more normal, right? Well, there is no such thing as normal, except for a washing machine and maybe a dishwasher? Normal cycle? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Let me know about your own hair struggles so I don't feel alone.
Bye!